Mayor's briefing on April 3rd. It's April, and we look forward to a number of springtime activities. Wichita Wind Surge Baseball officially kicked off last week, and this weekend on Saturday, April 5th, marks the official season opener at Old Cowtown Museum, celebrating 75 years of bringing the past to life. Here to tell us more is Old Town Museum Executive Director James Quint.
Thank you, Mayor Wu. We are very excited this year. It is Old Cowtown Museum's 75th anniversary, and so we have a number of activities planned throughout the year that will be celebrating this milestone for our great museum. This Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. is our season launch, and we're really embracing actually two different decades as part of this program. We are celebrating both the 1870s, as we always do with our programs and activities at Cowtown, but also the decade that the museum was founded. So the museum was founded in 1950, and so there are going to be a number of activities that are taking place at the museum this Saturday that will be denoting the first decade of the museum. We'll note all of the buildings that came to the site in its first 10 years, as well as having a fabulous trivia contest. There'll be 1950s music and movies playing at the museum, and there's just going to be a lot going on. And don't look at the weather forecast, but we also have a lot of indoor activities taking place. Mayor Wu will be present at the event as well to do a ribbon cutting at the first building preserved to save Wichita's history, which is the First Presbyterian Church, which was moved to Cowtown at that time period. So we're really excited this year, and as one of the longest standing museums in Wichita, we're just really excited to be a part of the city's history and to share that with all of our residents and tourists that come and visit the city of Wichita throughout the year. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you very much, James, and I look forward to this weekend. Cowtown is one of our treasured community museums, and if you have not been out there lately, be sure to go out and see one of their community's favorite attractions. Well, hopefully, as we navigate the drought, April brings spring showers. As of April 1st, Cheney is at 7.7 feet below normal, so we hope for lots of rain this upcoming spring. As a reminder, you can check the drought status at savewichitawater.com. April is also the official start of the salt sand cleanup efforts around the city. With the good weather, salt sand cleanup efforts kicked off on Monday of last week. That effort will continue until most of the salt sand mix is cleaned off of those designated snow routes, which include arterials, major collectors, and residential school access streets. We have had some rough ice and snowstorms this past winter, and crews worked tirelessly to abate those. For the 2024-2025 winter season, the city of Wichita used 13,300 tons of 50-50 salt sand mix. Last year, they used 8,445 tons of 50-50 mix. The sand and other material collected by street sweepers year-round is used as required to cover material for Brooks Landfill and saves about $600,000 a year in landfill costs. Afterwards, street sweepers will return to regular operations, during which arterial streets are targeted for sweeping up to 2 rounds per year, and residential streets are targeted for sweeping 1 time per year. You can track the sweepers of the plains on the map available at wichita.gov. Next, the Wichita Police Department would like to invite the community to join them for a community input session from 6 to 8 p.m. next Monday, April 10th, regarding the new gunshot detection policy. Here to tell us more is Public Information Officer Chris Gupalan. Chris?
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. I'm Officer Chris Gupalan, the Public Information Officer for the Wichita Police Department. And just like the Mayor was saying, on April 10th next week from 6 to 8 p.m., Chief Sullivan invites the community and all of our local media partners to come attend and join him and Deputy Chief Duff at Stranger Rest Missionary Baptist Church, and it's for the second community input session. During this session, Deputy Chief Duff, he's going to be providing an update on our gunshot detection policy, And this meeting will highlight how your feedback has influenced the policy's direction and the changes we have made based on some of your recommendations. In May, we held our first community input session to hear your thoughts and ideas. Now, we are returning to share the progress we've made in response to your input. Again, your voice continues to play a vital role in this process, and we hope to see you there as we work together to build a safer Wichita. Again, that's next week, April 10th, 6 to 8 p.m. over at Stranger Rest Missionary Baptist Church. That's where we're going to be having it, and we hope to see you all there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you to the Wichita Police Department for ensuring that there is transparency and community collaboration and input with this new software, which is aimed at further enhancing safety in the community. Lily Meadows, our city fellow, is here on behalf of Animal Services to share our Animal of the Week. Lily, who do you have here today?
Hi, everyone. Today we have Colby. Thank you. Colby has been at the animal shelter since March 30th. He's 4 years old, and we think he is a lab shepherd pit mix. He was found running at large and eventually surrendered by his owners, so he is now available for adoption through the Kansas Humane Society. If you guys are interested in him, make sure to mention A175094. This big boy is looking for a fun and loving family who has lots of energy to play with this big boy. And we encourage everyone to keep checking 24 Pet Connect for lost pets in the area. And we would love if you shared the Facebook post to spread awareness of the animals that are at the shelter and who are in need of homes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lily, and everyone at Animal Services for helping connect their pets with their pet owners, as well as these new connections of forever homes. So thank you, Lily, for doing that effort on behalf of Animal Services. And as a reminder, the shelter is always in need of treats and toys for our furry friends, especially as intakes continue to increase at Animal Services. Next, here to share our weekly mental health tip is Eric Litweiler from Mental Health America. Eric?
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning. Every day, each one of us is surrounded and impacted by what we call social drivers of health. We used to call them social determinants of health. Everything from where we work and what we eat, our level of education that we've achieved, our access to basic needs like housing, safe neighborhoods, green spaces, social supports, transportation, healthy foods, etc. And all of those things have a significant impact on both short-term and long-term health outcomes. Households and neighborhoods in Wichita that have favorable drivers have both better quality of health and also longer life expectancies, which means that an increase in any of those items, or even just one of those items, has the ability not just to save lives, but also improve the quality of life for all Wichitans. In addition to these factors that influence common mental health issues like anxiety and depressive disorders, chronic diseases like heart disease, stroke, and diabetes also decrease dramatically with better access to good jobs, public safety, parks, and top quality schools. The great thing about these drivers is that while they are a genuine need for neighborhoods and households in lower income areas, those same things are a vested interest for all Wichitans, regardless of how big your lot size is or the zip code in which you live. For those in our city who struggle with any of these social drivers, your city council members are good and responsive public servants who all desire a stronger Wichita. And MHA will always be available to those who live with mental health concerns and mental illnesses, but we can work together to minimize those concerns with municipal involvement in the drivers that impact those concerns for the future. Our Office of Community Development at MHA works closely with both the city and the county to ensure that mental health plays a role in the Wichita of tomorrow, and we look forward to continuing to be a resource for every citizen of this great city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric and Mental Health America, for these mental health tips that we appreciate hearing about during the mayor's briefing. And now I'd like to move to some good news. I always like to end these with something that is happening in our community. So Councilmember Brandon Johnson for District 1 and Councilmember Dalton Glasscock for District 4 both invite you to their breakfast on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. For District 1, it will be held at Edgemore Rec Center. The special guest is City Manager Bob Layton. And for District 4, the breakfast will be a town hall with Public Works, and that will be held at Auburn Hills Clubhouse. Both breakfasts are free and open to anyone in the community. Again, it's Saturday, 9:30 a.m. I also wanted to share a place I just came from before coming here was at WSU Tech and the free opportunities they have for high school juniors and seniors to have free tuition while still getting their high school diplomas. So great opportunities for additional educational certificates for young people who are in high school, who can also earn a certificate by graduating from one of the WSU Tech programs. So definitely check that out at wsutech.edu. And now I would like to invite Megan Lovely with our communications department regarding the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. We've just gotten some requests about what next steps are. As you know, yesterday, City Manager Robert Layton announced his retirement after 16 years serving as Wichita's city manager. His last day will be December 31st. In the meantime, the council will be beginning the process to undergo a nationwide search for Wichita's next city manager. The city expects the process to be extensive and include opportunities for public engagement similar to the search for a new police chief. And stay tuned. As more information is finalized, we will be able to share that more with the community.
And now we will open it up for questions.
So on that note of the city manager, announcing his retirement at the end of the year, obviously the city council is the one that gets to decide or make some decisions in that search process. What would you like to see during that process, especially because we have 3 council members who are up for re-election this year?
That is correct. So in our form of government here at the city of Wichita, we have something called a council manager form of government, which means that the city manager is really the chief executive officer of the 3,000 employees who are part of the city of Wichita. And the city manager directly reports to the 7 individuals on the council. That includes the mayor. So the 7 individuals on the city council will be the ultimate deciders of the city manager eventually. But before we can get to that position, we want lots of community feedback. And so this is still a very early process, and what I am certainly looking forward to is a type of leadership that will continue to respect taxpayers, someone that will be able to prioritize what community is asking us to focus on. As you all know, we're very data-driven, and the community-wide survey says that the community wants us to focus on crime, streets, economic development, and homelessness. Therefore, I'm going to be looking forward to an individual that can help lead the 3,000 members of the city of Wichita while also working alongside 7 individuals on a council. And to address your specific question regarding 3 individuals who will be up for election this year, as many of you know, District 1 is term limited, so Brandon Johnson cannot serve in this position next year. So someone new will be coming to that position. And council members for District 3 and 6 will be up for re-election if they so choose. So we have 3 positions that are up for election. And again, those elections will be in August and in November. But the process really right now looks like we will have a nationwide search for an individual to take the next leadership position. And I'm looking forward to City Manager Bob Layton being integral in that process. He will still be here during the next several months until his retirement on December 31st. And I believe that it will be part of his legacy, who the next individual will be, having had someone who has served in City of Wichita's government for the past 16 years. So this will be a very robust community input process, but also a nationwide process.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask a follow-up question to that. I think I was asking, about those three who are up for reelection because, do you want them to be part of that decision-making process? Because ultimately, the council does have to vote on who the city manager will be. So are you wanting to, make that selection before or after?
Good question. As you know, we're in a council of 7, and it takes a majority of 4 to really move anything forward. We have not had a conversation amongst the 7 of us, and therefore, I can't tell you what the decision of a whole council will be. As the mayor, again, I said that I want the input of the 7 individuals, especially right now, who are in that leadership position. 6 of them were voted on by their specific district, and the mayor was elected by the entire city. Therefore, I think that the process right now, as is on April 3rd, would require the input of the 7 individuals currently on the council.
So the people that will be voted into city council to take over those 3 positions potentially will have no say in who the next city manager is?
We don't know because, again, the 3 individuals who are up for election, or the 3 districts, they won't get sworn in until January of 2026. Just based off of a timeline, the city manager currently says that he will leave on December 31st.
Do you see any changes in the way Wichita is led? Like, could we do without a city manager? And your thoughts on consolidation with the city-county? I know there's been talk about that in the past. I'm told there might be more talk about that in the future from different individuals.
I would like more community input. As I said during my State of the City address, I believe that we have an opportunity to have more shared services, whether it's shared spaces or opportunities to see how we can work better together between the city and the county. While at the same time, I want the community to give us input on specifically our type of government. The type of government we currently have, again, is a council manager form of government, which technically is one where the, again, city manager is the chief executive officer, and the mayor, who's elected at large by the city, is a board president. So it's basically known as a weak mayor system. And so we need to have that discussion, whether we want a different type of government, whether we want to see different type of leadership. We have not had these conversations in over 16 years. I think it's time for the community to have a truly engaged conversation of what they would like to see in their local government for leadership. So I'm looking forward to the next months as we will have that engagement, and I look forward to engaging even with the council members who are currently here about what they want to see moving forward. Because again, I'm very grateful for the 16 years that City Manager Bob Layton has provided the City of Wichita, but I'm also looking forward to the new leadership that will move the city, again, forward, respects taxpayers, as well as prioritizes the needs. Thank you.
So there's a chance that there will be no new city manager?
I did not say that. I just said that, again, this is a very preliminary. Yesterday was the announcement of City Manager Layton saying that he will retire by the end of the year. So this is all very preliminary right now. We definitely want community engagement, and I believe that that's what community has been asking for. But we have not had a conversation with community, so I look forward to those opportunities where we can have town halls and we can have that true community engagement regarding this process.
Everything's in preliminary stages right now, like you mentioned, and you said that holding town halls, things like that. Are there anything that you might be looking forward to in terms of, surveys or questionnaires or things for communities to reach out to you and give that feedback?
Everything's on the table, and you can always reach out to your city council. You simply go to wichita.gov/citycouncil, and all email addresses for the 7 individuals on the council are on that webpage. And you can start giving your feedback right now about what you want to see in your local government, what you want to see with a city manager. So I always encourage people to reach out to your council members as well as your mayor.
Now, is this specifically, you said you're looking for input on potentially changing kind of Is this just kind of an opportunity now brought up because his announcement of retirement, or because something else, or concerns that you may have specifically?
Again, I am grateful that we now have the process beginning early. City Manager Layton will not leave until December 31st, which gives us a lot of runway and gives us time for community engagement, for council member engagement, and it will also give us time to really go through that national process to find the next city manager for the city of Wichita.
During that process, are you hoping for it to be an open or closed search? I know, the last time the city manager was selected, it was a closed search, and that kind of led to a series of events, I'll just put it that way. Are you hoping that there will be multiple candidates that community members can engage with?
Everything's on the table right now. Again, no decisions have been made regarding the process itself, other than this will be a nationwide process.
If the community said that they wanted to rethink the way that the government is formed and they would not like us to have a city manager, is that a possibility?
Everything's on the table, and I think that everyone should be engaging not just on who the next city manager will be, but the type of government that you're looking for. Again, the city of Wichita right now has a city manager who is the CEO of 3,000 employees, and you have a city council along with a mayor that have equal power, but the mayor is elected by the whole city. So we should have a conversation about the form of government that we currently operate in, but also what it could look like moving forward.
Question about the CEO. If a majority of the council would vote to put it up for a public referendum, and the public said, yes, let's change how we're governing, how would a CEO's, so to speak, Bob Layton being the CEO, how would the CEO's expertise be kind of brought in from all the other members who would then be working on the council, I guess?
I really can't answer that question right now. All I can say is that everything's on the table, and I think that that's what community is asking for. They want to have an engaged process where they can provide feedback, not just on the leader who is the city manager, but also the type of government that we currently operate in. And I'm looking forward to the next months as we have more community engagement and have the opportunity to talk with community members about what they're looking for in their local government.
Shifting gears a little bit, I know we have some on-bank meetings with city and county. Will there be talk about, again, consolidating services or whole governments there?
So I don't think that whole government's consolidation is on the table, but rather sharing services. We already have places like MABCD that are city and county collaborations. I actually had the opportunity to visit a fire station yesterday that has Sedgwick County firefighters and Wichita firefighters. And so I'm looking forward to the opportunities moving forward of how we can be more effective and efficient as local governments, because right now there is a separation between City of Wichita and Sedgwick County, and a lot of folks don't know the differences, but also what are we overlapping that could be better used with resources, but again, be more effective and efficient. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.